3, 2, 1. Da, 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 da. Blue streak speeds by. Sonic the Hedgehog, too fast for the naked eye. Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic, he can really move. Sonic, he's got an attitude. Sonic, he's the fastest thing alive. Look out when he storms through. Sonic the Hedgehog, don't doubt what he can do. Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic, he can really move. Sonic, he's got an attitude. Sonic, he's the fastest thing alive. He's the fastest thing alive. He's the fastest thing alive.
Story 1, The Royal Fighter Service, Part 1. Not long after Eggman's statement, Sonic and Sally returned to Castle Acorn to bring the council together. Sally's parents and Nicole were thrilled to the bone to see Sally back safe and sound. They were also eternally grateful to Sonic for saving her. "God bless you, Sonic," said King Max, "for what you did out there." Sonic just gave a casual smile. "You're welcome, Your Majesty," he said. Moments later, the Council of Acorn had been gathered, and now they began thinking hard on what to do against the new threat that had arrived to Mobius. The council members consisted of the king and queen themselves, a pig named Hamlin, a porcupine named Dylan, a platypus named Penelope, and a mongoose named Julian. King Max was the first to speak. Of course. "Now everyone here, I guess you already know why we're all gathered here," he said. "Our glorious home is under siege from a deadly new threat, nothing like we've ever encountered before. As you can see, this invader has already done a great deal of damage to Mobitropolis," added Alicia. "So this is a much more serious situation than we've ever had before." The council members murmured against each other. Sonic, Sally, and Nicole all stood before them waiting for their permission to speak. "If I heard correctly, this invader calls himself Dr. Mustache," continued Max. And they're all like, yeah, we heard Dr. Mustache. And Sonic has to correct him. "I think it was Dr. Eggman." "No, it was definitely Dr. Mustache," continued Max. "And he wishes to take control of Mobius, it seems, as he tried to take our daughter from this planet and traitor. But thanks to the heroic intentions of our friend, Sonic the Hedgehog, Sally was saved without any sign of harm done to her." Oh, this is going to be a long one. Sonic gave the council a thumbs-up sign. "Permission to speak, sire?" he asked. "Granted," said Max, intent on hearing what he had to say. Sonic walked closer to the table and spoke. "This Eggman guy, not Mr. Mustache, has more than just this huge battleship out there," he said. "He had robotic minions at his side. This guy looks like a mad genius, and I'm pretty sure he's judging by the robots he's built." "What?" "He has robotic minions at his side. This guy looks like a mad genius." Oh. "He has robotic minions at his side. This guy looks like a mad genius, and I'm pretty sure he is judging by the robots he built." "They can't be that strong. You took them all out," noted Alicia. "That's because I can run fast," noted Sonic. "If the robots attack anyone else, I can't guarantee they'll be lucky, because no one on Mobius is as cool as Sonic. Sonic the Hedgehog," puts on sunglasses. Alicia nodded in agreement. "Yes, you are pretty cool, Sonic." Alicia nodded in agreement. Sonic was indeed the fastest person on the planet. No one else could run as fast as he could, so the citizens of Mobius would be in even greater danger than Sonic would if Eggman's supposed robot minions attacked. That's a long sentence, man. "And I bet there will be a time when I meet my match and I'll need help," added Sonic. "So I thought we could ask anyone to sign up for combat training so they'll be able to fight against Eggman's wrath." "Are you nuts?" Hamlet yelled. "Just think of how many lives are at risk if we do that." I have to think of a better voice for him. "Oh, shut up, Hamlet," hissed Max. Oh, I gave Max the... "Oh, shut up, Hamlin," hissed Max. "You're not authorized to speak right now." Hamlet folded his arms and grumbled. King Max turned his attention back to Sonic, because he was so cool. "Sonic, Hamlin does have a point over there." said Max wearily. But if we don't do anything against this madman, our world is over. So do you approve? Asked Sonic hopefully. We'll begin the voting session, said Max. All in favor of Sonic's idea? Everyone except Hamlin raised their hands and said, yay. Hamlin just said, nay, being the grumpy porker he is. Oh, there you got roasted. The council has voted and the votes go in favor of Sonic's idea, said Max. We shall hand out training lessons for the citizens of Mobius, and those who sign up will be appointed as the Kingdom of Acorn's royal fighters. That is all, everyone. The council members left their seats and walked out of the room to get back to their usual activities. Sonic, Sally, and Nicole left the room with looks of concerns on their faces. That was a good idea, Sonic, but do you think anyone will sign up? Asked Sally, worried. Sonic just gave her a casual expression. I hope so, because despite my strength and speed, it might be a good time when Eggman defeats me, or even kills me, or even he stabs me with that mustache of his. And then who's going to fight him when I'm gone? Whoa, that's a very good point, Miss Nicole. So we best keep our hopes up for any volunteers. I'll get the posters made. And with that, Nicole walked into a room where the Acorn family do most of their writing work to make some posters that would advertise the Royal Fighters Service and hopefully get some volunteers. Sonic and Sally took out their earmuffs. Ooh, finally! That girl can talk of a storm. I know, right? Despite the king's approval of the idea, Sonic knew that the next few days and weeks were going to be very hard for all the people of Mobius. Back at the ship. Alonzo, what's the level of damage done to the control pad like? Asked Dr. Eggman. He and Alonzo had spent the whole time cleaning up the masses of robot pieces that littered the floor. Now that was done, Eggman wanted to know what the damage to the control pad was like, and more importantly, if any of the footage from his failed mustache making was still available, and where he could destroy it. I'll run a diagnostic test immediately, announced Alonzo in his upper-class English accented behavior. I'm going to change that to Spanish, but thank you. Alonzo pressed the button on the undamaged side of the control pad and told the computer to run a test for damage. The computer fell silent except for whirring and buzzing noises as it scanned. The computer finished scanning and gave its report. The damage is 90%, droned the computer. It may take some time to repair. That is like this real country voice. The damage is 90%, droned the computer. It may take some time to repair. Alonzo muttered and mumbled some stuff in Spanish under his breath. The damage is pretty high, sir, reported Alonzo. It could take hours or days to repair. That wasn't what Dr. Eggman wanted to hear, but it couldn't be helped, could it? Sonic did land on those gun turret controls very hard, after all. I don't care how long it takes to fix those blasted controls, shouted Eggman. I swear I'm fixed. Now, get to what you do, this butler robot. You better chip up and get me my mustache. What am I doing? What? I don't need to do this. I could be like having a good Friday night. You know, watching some recreators. Or, you know, doing normal Friday night things. Hanging out with people. That's totally what people do on Friday nights. I would know. I'm totally a cool person. Yes, sir, mumbled Alonzo angrily. He trundled over to the controls, opened one of his side compartments, and pulled out a toolbox. He had no idea how long it would take to fix those infernal controls, but he had to do it, otherwise Eggman would probably mash him into tiny pieces, or even send him to the scrapyard. As Alonzo began to work on the broken control pad, Eggman surveyed the computer monitors that gave him a clear view of the semi-wrecked city of Mobitropolis below him. It gave Eggman great pleasure to watch what his victims were up to while he was sitting in his huge battleship, waiting to attack. Eggman also began to have images of a destroyed city in his evil mind. Then something caught his sharp eyes. Dr. Eggman peered closer at the center monitor. He could see a brown dot wandering about the city. Dr. Eggman zoomed to the monitor's view so he could see what was happening. The monitor now showed him Nicole carrying a bunch of posters under her arm. She walked several lampposts that hadn't fallen over, or some buildings that were still intact, and stuck the posters on them. Nicole walked away to stick up another poster. Eggman zoomed in the monitor even further so he could see what the poster said. The monitor gave him a clear view of the poster stuck to one of the walls on an intact building. The poster said, "Royal fighters needed!" Da-da-da-da-da-da. Our good King Maximilian Acorn has decided to have an eager group of fighters fight against this new menace that has invaded Mobius in threat of taking it over. We have run on sentences for days, don't you know? The volunteers that sign up must already be skilled in combat or eager to help protect our dear home planet from this invader. If there are any volunteers who aren't skilled in combat, there will be a special training session with combat experts of Mobius. Please sign up and fight for Mobius. Yours sincerely, the Kingdom of Acorn. And it has like a little flowery signage at the end of it, and then you know it's Nicole because like she put like a little Nicole signature for her art at the bottom of it. Dr. Eggman had just erupted in laughter. He laughed so loudly he surprised Alonzo, and Alonzo accidentally hit himself with a He groaned and rubbed his pointy head. "What in the world of technology is so funny, Master?" shrieked Alonzo, who forgot his accent, feeling the newly formed dent in his head. "Those furry fools have decided to form a resistance against us," explained Eggman. "How bold are they?" "So why is that funny?" said Alonzo. "If this resistance has the slimy, warm Sonic, then we're in trouble, and maybe the Mobians helping him might be just as strong as he is." Dr. Eggman stopped laughing and suddenly fell silent. Even though he hated it when Alonzo noticed something important before did, he knew the butler bot was right. What if the Mobians had fighters that were just as strong as Sonic? Sonic took a whole squad of robots out without breaking a sweat, so who knew what those Mobians could do to him and his robots? He had to sort that out and fast, and luckily he had the perfect idea. Eggman stroked his mustache slowly. "Alonzo, I have just the thing to deal with those resistant little Mobians," he purred darkly. "Get the roboticizer ready." "But who's going to take care of the control pad?" asked Alonzo, who was wondering why freaking Eggman had an accent too. "I will," said Dr. Eggman. "Now get the roboticizer ready. I'll explain my plan once it's ready." "Yes, sir. Definitely, sir," said Alonzo happily, with his newfound respect for Eggman's voice, zooming off in a hurry. After Alonzo left, Dr. Eggman picked up the toolbox and began to continue working on the control pad. He couldn't wait to put his next plan into action. ... 3 days later, 3 whole days passed, and not many people had signed up to the Royal Fighter Service. There was only Sonic himself and 2 volunteers. One of these 2 was a skunk in a combat suit named Geoffrey St. John. He was armed with an arm-mounted crossbow that could fire darts on different kinds of He was armed with an arm-mounted crossbow that could fire darts of different kinds. He spoke with an Australian accent, too. Gah! The other was a red female fox named Fiona. She wore a black crop top and black trousers with black shoes and black fingerless gloves. For some daft reason, she had a dainty yellow bow tie on her head. I guess she's a child. I'm not kidding. It says I guess she's a child of heart in quotations. Sonic sighed at the disappointingly small team he ended up with. "I guess not many people are keen on the whole save the world gecko," said Sonic. "Shame, really." "I wouldn't worry about it, mate," said Geoffrey kindly. "Doesn't matter how big our team is. It's how strong the team..." I gotta... You know what? I'm gonna pause the recording, because I want to learn what Australian accent's like. Okay, I finally got an accent ready. Pull up the page. "Won't worry about it, mate," said Geoffrey kindly. "Doesn't matter how big our team is, how strong the team is." "How skilled are you 2? asked Sonic. "Do you need training?" "Nah, mate," said Geoffrey. "I've been taught in combat base since I was a little boy. That's why I wear this suit of mine." "What about you, Fiona?" asked Sonic. "I've learned a little bit of fighting to defend myself," replied Fiona. "Not the offense." "Oh, Steve, be quiet. You sound like that one girl." "Ah, no, not that voice." What kind of voice? Oh, she'd have a deadpan voice. "What about you, Fiona?" asked Sonic. "I guess I learned a little bit of fighting to defend myself," replied Fiona. "But not the advanced stuff." "I guess we're all right then," said Sonic. I just hope you can keen up with me. Oh, cocky are we, mate, teased Joffrey. Cockiness can lead to trouble, you know. Thanks, Joffrey, muttered Sonic. Just watch your attitude. We're gonna fight each other instead of this Eggman freak, snapped Fiona, obviously not keen on watching boys fight each other. Joffrey gave Fiona a slight frown but said nothing, whereas Sonic raised an eyebrow. You sound like you could stop a fight, noted Sonic. That's very helpful. Thanks, Fiona said modestly. But then the door opened and in walked the king and queen. Joffrey and Fiona stood together. Sonic stood to the side and bowed to them. Max and Alicia turned to face the volunteers. Max observed them closely. These two look like natural-born fighters, said Max proudly. I just wonder why no one else is bothered about signing up. Not everyone is keen on fighting, dear, said Alicia softly. There are only so many people with that kind of interest. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I got an interest in? Oh, some toast. I'm gonna go get some toast. You want some toast? Max nodded in agreement. Yes, I want some toast. And turned to Sonic. My boy. I have to add in that clip. You know what clip I'm talking. My boy, you'll have to make do with these two until we get more volunteers in the future, he said. I'll make sure we don't let you down, said Sonic, hoping that he wouldn't. Excellent, said Max happily. Now you three may go! But before he could say anything else, Nicole burst into the room. She looked like she had just escaped from a pack of ravenous wolves and lived to tell a tale. Sonic, your highness, she squeaked. The crazy guy is about to attack us. Alicia clasped her hands over her mouth to prevent herself from squealing, whereas Max clasped loudly. Sonic, however, just smirked. I guess it's time for the real fighters to go into action, he declared happily, putting on his sunglasses once again because this is a different day. Come on, Joffrey and Fiona. Sonic ran out of the room with Joffrey and Fiona following him closely. They ran out to the castle. They ran out of the castle and screeched to a halt to see what was going on. The whole city of Mobotropolis had suddenly grown dark as Eggman's battleship slowly flew, blocking out the sun and covering the city in a huge shadow. However, none of its gun turrets were pointing down at the city below it. They were still pointed forward. Then, from directly underneath, a huge funnel-shaped contraption telescoped slowly out from the ship. What's that? Asked Fiona, shaking. I don't know, said Sonic. We'll have to see what it does, mate, said Joffrey. Then before another word could be uttered, the final thing finished telescoping out and made a loud noise. And it's probably just a screeching version of the Meat Channel theme. Then it made another noise, but this noise sounded more like a giant vacuum cleaner in reverse. Sonic felt the wind whizzing past him from behind. Then he felt himself slowly getting tugged forward. The same was happening to Joffrey and Fiona. All the same was happening to all the other citizens. The battleship was attempting to suck everything up. Several nearby Mobians were suddenly yanked from the ground and sucked up into the funnel-shaped contraption. Sonic almost found himself being sucked up, but he managed to grab onto a nearby lamppost and held on as tight as his hands would let him. Joffrey held on with him. Fiona wasn't so lucky, as she was sucked up before she could grab onto anything. Oh no. The strength of the sucking wind was intense, but Sonic fought hard to hold on to the lamppost. He wasn't letting Eggman get him. Then suddenly the sucking died down, and the funnel-shaped contraption telescoped slowly back into the battleship's underbelly. The hatch closed as the funnel finished coming back inside. Then the battleship began to back away from Mobotropolis, its engines roaring loudly as it did so. Sonic gasped for breath as he finally let go of the lamppost. Joffrey was just as shaken as he was. He hadn't seen any kangaroo as tough as that. He let go, flumped on his bottom, and gasped. Well, I didn't see that coming, cried Sonic. Neither did I, mate, sputtered Joffrey. That bloke Eggman had a few bloomin' surprises up his sleeve, I'll say. Well, we have to spring to action now, noted Sonic. That creep just kidnapped Hat City, and Fiona. Joffrey pulled a dart out of a pocket on his belt and loaded his arm-mounted crossbow. Good thing I have just the dart for the occasion, he smirked. The skunk aimed his arm at the backing of battleship and fired his crossbow. The dart shot out of the crossbow, a long cable unwinding behind it as it flew, and it struck the underbelly of the battleship. Joffrey pulled onto the cable to make sure it was nice and tight and then started climbing up it. Sonic decided to follow his skunk partner as he had the only way up to that ship. As they climbed further and further up the cable, Sonic thought on what Eggman could possibly be planning to do with all this Mobius he had just captured. Back at the ship, A success! A brilliant success! Cheered Dr. Eggman, leaping about in a rather comical dance. A battleship sucker definitely shocked up a lot of Mobians for me to row up. And, all the Mobians that had just been sucked up onto the ship were now trapped in cages made of diamond glass, one of the hardest substances on Mobius, even though he wouldn't have had any way to obtain materials from Mobius. Eggman found that out after a brief study on the planet upon arrival and collected some diamond glass from a glass factory in a different city from Mobitropolis. Those Captain Mobians wouldn't be going anywhere in a hurry. Fiona was more upset than anyone. Her first mission for the newly formed Royal Fighters, and already she gets captured. How unlucky was that? Eggman eyed all his captives evilly. I bet you're wondering why I've brought you all here, he said smoothly. The frightened Mobians nodded their heads. Well, I'll explain it to you. Just because I feel like it, said Eggman, twirling his famous mustache. That's the name of the robot. Alonzo appeared beside him and held out a billboard which explained Eggman's plan in 5 easy steps. Eggman pointed to each step as he explained his plan. You see, I found out that this Royal Fighter Service you furry freaks of nature decided to form, explained Eggman, and that troublesome Hedgehog Sonic was already one heck of a handful for me, and if he has any accomplices, I have more trouble to deal with. So I decided to kidnap you all as I go and turn you all to my demonic robotic minions with a flick of the switch. Pick the wrist at the pick of the switch. That way, no one can stop me. As he erupted into a loud, evil cackle, Fiona shivered. She had no idea how Eggman was going to turn them all into robots, but she knew that Eggman couldn't possibly be kidding. After Eggman stopped cackling, he turned to Alonzo. Alonzo, prepare to activate the Robosizer, he ordered. With pleasure, sir, said Alonzo, more than happy to do so. He zoomed over to the control pad and began pressing keys on the keypad. Eggman turned his attention to a computer monitor that displayed a map of the planet. He leafed through the various states, cities, and continents, wondering which city to target next after he roboticized the bunch of Mobians he had now. After all, if Mobitropolis gave the word to the other continents, these places would try and follow in their footsteps and promptly overwhelm him. Eggman eyed a city on the map named Grand Metropolis. This was the second largest city on Mobius and bound to be brewing with Mobians. Eggman pressed the button marked Target Lock, and a target locking symbol appeared on the monitor. Now once I've finished here, I can set the ship's course to this metropolis, and level that place just as I have for this one, he said to himself. The roboticizer is ready to activate, Master, announced Alonzo gleefully. Excellent, cried Eggman. Activators, Alonzo! Alonzo saluted proudly and pressed a large square button surrounded by black and yellow warning stripes marked Activate. All the glass cages began to glow a terrific electrical blue color. Incredible flashes of blue electricity crackled around the cages, and they hummed really loudly. Oh no, they hummed really loudly! Oh, this is not good. Really loudly, that's not good at all. The trapped Mobians began frantically banging against the wall in a feeble attempt to escape. However, diamond glass couldn't be shattered or broken by even the strongest of forces. Even a bomb wouldn't work on it. Dr. Eggman cackled maniacally as he watched the roboticized citizens progress unfold before his evil, mustache-infused eyes. Then suddenly, a window broke in and leaped Sonic the Hedgehog and Geoffrey St. John! Whoa! Dr. Eggman turned around and shrieked with horror. Ah! Ah! Hey, Eggman, miss me? Sneered Sonic. What? Oh, that's just great. Another broken window to add to my list, moaned Alonzo, surveying the slithers of glass all over the shiny floor. So, what's with that light show? Asked Sonic. You're too late, Hedgehog, gloated Eggman. All these captives are being roboticized before your very eyes. What in the name of Mobitropolis does roboticize mean? Asked Sonic. It means I am turning all of these furry fools into robots that will obey my will, reported Eggman. Sonic and Geoffrey both stared at him, wide-eyed and jaw-dropped. Oh my god. Now that's just sick, cried Geoffrey, aiming his crossbow at him. Sonic leapt at Eggman and landed a powerful kick on the evil man's face. Eggman yelped in pain as he was knocked off his feet. Then Sonic, seizing the chance, ran to the nearest cage and looked at the small keypad on it. He saw a green button marked open, so he pressed it. The cage stopped glowing and the glass case lifted up to reveal a terrified but relieved Fiona Fox. "Oh, thank you, Sonic," gasped Fiona, clutching her pounding chest. "Come on, Fiona, we're gonna have to save everyone else," cried Sonic. Fiona leapt onto the cage. Fiona leapt out of the cage and ran to a nearby cage, while Sonic ran to another one. They both pressed the open button on the respective cages, and they opened up. The Mobians in those cages were an orange dog in an army camouflage-colored shorts, and a purple mouse with a yellow tail wearing a lime green sleeveless top and a short skimpy skirt. The relieved Mobians thanked Sonic and Fiona and ran for cover. Unfortunately, though, it seemed this would be all Sonic would be rescuing, because all the other cages stopped glowing, and in their place stood evil robotical versions of their old selves. Metal replaced fur, and their eyes all glowed a terrifying blood-red color. They were all armed with razor-sharp teeth and claws, and when they spoke, their voices sounded more electronic and threatening than they once did. Some of the roboticized Mobians even roared instead of spoke. Or even worse, they burped instead of spoke. "Yeah, that's way past uncool," cried Sonic, putting on sunglasses for the second time today. "They're all monsters," shrieked Fiona. Then suddenly Geoffrey appeared, holding an unconscious yellow female rabbit, wearing a pink leotard in his arms. However, the rabbit's legs and left arm were now robotical instead of organic. Sonic and Fiona stared at the rabbit with amazement. Oh my goodness, there's a pun. It's about to happen. I hope you guys like it. "I managed to save this one before she was fully roboticized," said Geoffrey. "Well, I was a little too late." "She's half rabbit, half robot," squeaked Fiona. "She's a robot," joked Sonic. Geoffrey chuckled slightly. "Boys, can we laugh later?" said Fiona crossly. "Right now, we've got thousands of killer robots to deal with." "Oh yeah," said Sonic, turning his attention back to the roboticized Mobians that stood before him. All the cages containing them opened up to set them free. The monstrous robots then advanced on the three fighters menacingly, bringing their teeth and growling softly. Sonic, Geoffrey, and Fiona took a step back. The robots hissed in unison, oil dripping from their mouths. Dr. Eggman got back to his feet and stared in satisfaction at his handiwork. The roboticizer had been a great success. Pity 4 of the thousands he captured were rescued before they could get roboticized, but who cares if he was 4 robots short in his army? The number he had now is good enough as it is. Eggman cackled tauntingly at the fighters. "You were much too late, my courageous fighters," he cowed. "Now bear witness to my new minions, the Robians." "Oh, I get it," mocked Sonic. "It's short for roboticized Mobian, isn't it?" "Yes," muttered Dr. Eggman. "So can you dare to attack your own species? Ah-ha-ha! "They're not Mobians anymore," yelled Fiona. "They're robots. Evil, monstrous robots! ! "We're gonna make you pay for that, you back-hearted fiend," declared Geoffrey, who needs another lesson in Australian accents, aiming his crossbow and preparing to fire. "Well, we'll see about that, won't we?" sneered Eggman. "Robians, attack!" he bellowed. Before Sonic and the others had time to react, the ferocious Robians leapt on them, snarling like lions, ... and it's over. Stay tuned for part 2.